The Australian Ghost Whisperer with Katerine Legato and James Jennings.
Hello everybody, welcome back for another episode today.
Yes, and today we're going to talk about how to be a healer. So Kat's obviously done healing for many, many years now. I'm sure, do people come and ask you about how to get into healing?
Yes, often. And there's a lot of people that I meet that come to me that have a very beautiful natural gift. So I'm able to sort of give them some guidance and some tips to work with their gift, to develop it.
So people who have like natural affinity for that, what sort of things can they notice about themselves that point towards there being a natural affinity? Like what about them makes them, I think I can do this?
Yeah, absolutely. So to me, I believe that people that are going to go out and feel this desire to heal and help, it's something that they've come into this world to do. At a soul level, they've decided to come here, and at a certain point in their life, it's almost like they're getting this calling that they want to kind of do more. They want to develop their gifts. They're sensing things, they're feeling things, they're feeling like they're a little bit different to everybody else. Sometimes a lot of these people feel a little isolated and alone, and they're not sure who they can talk to things about how they're feeling. So with becoming a healer, as I said, I know that I do see this, and I think that there's a lot of courses out there, and sometimes people that really shouldn't be healers are doing these courses and setting themselves up as healers and doing a great deal of damage to themselves and to the people that they're healing because they're not quite prepared. Becoming a healer is something that you have to commit to 100%, which means you got to be deeply dedicated and committed. You have to live a very clean lifestyle. You can't go out drinking, boozing, doing drugs, eating a whole bunch of crap, and then thinking that the next day you're going to be able to get into a high frequency to actually heal somebody.
So lifestyle choices are obviously really
The most
important.
important thing,
Yeah.
And more so, they have to have time to work through their own issues. Because, again, people that I see that have just done a course and set themselves up as healers or whatever, tarot readings or whatever it is, often they've done no work on themselves, and they're using this as a screen to not look deeply into themselves and heal their own wounds. And because, this field is very, what's the word? It's not controlled. It's a very
Unregulated.
and anybody can set themselves up and say that they're whatever they want to be.
Yeah.
But with it comes a great deal of karmic responsibility. Like if you're setting yourself up and you really think that, you're not quite ready to do it, but you just want to do it because, everybody else is doing it, it feels a bit trendy. You must understand that there will be, karmic repercussions to what you're doing. So it's something that you need to take very seriously. And I know that there's a lot of amazing people out there that do have beautiful gifts. So I always recommend, first of all, work through your own issues, heal yourself first as much as you can. And this is a journey that I also took. Even though I was speaking with, people on the other side and spirits, and I had this wonderful connection with my guides, and they still, I still went through many, many years of working through my own stuff, going on my own personal healing journey, and I still do on a regular basis. The personal healing journey is never finished. So, and the lifestyle, it's very disciplined. Like I don't touch alcohol at all, at all, at all, at all. Like I don't even like it, to be honest. And, when I'm, preparing for work the next day, I make sure that I'm in bed early, that I'm getting sufficient sleep, that I'm, in the right headspace, that I'm able to be on a higher frequency the next day to help people. Because people bring all kinds of stuff with them. And if you're not vibing at the right frequency, then you're going to start taking their stuff on. And this is something I've also seen. People become very sick because they set themselves up as healers. They're trying to do energy work on people, but they're actually, taking on people's stuff. They're messing about with people's energy without a real understanding about what they're doing. And all of this just leads to chaos. So it really is about take your time, step at a time, work through your own stuff first, and then, connect in very deeply with yourself, because if you're someone who's meant to be a healer, then you will have a very deep connection with your inner world, with your spirit that's there to support you, your higher self. And, work with that. Find your style. Find, I think you've got to feel comfortable with the style that you're choosing to work with, how you're choosing to work with people. And look at what am I seeing when I look at people's energy. Like a lot of practice is so important. Perhaps, you can practice with friends, or maybe friends that have other friends that, you don't know too much about. Like I'd advise lots of practice and sense, feel the energy. But most of all, don't work to a point where you're then giving of your own life force over. You have to realize that there's only perhaps a certain amount of energy work you can do in a day. It might just be to start off with one person, and that's fine, because you don't want to work to a place where you become very tired and you feel very drained, and then you've taken on everybody's stuff, and then you can become your own energy quite toxic, quite polluted. And then when that happens, then you're not going to be of any good to yourself or to anybody else.
In the early days of you doing healing, did you learn that the hard way? Were you giving too much of your life force and energy? And I mean, I'm just wondering if that's a lesson.
I think at some stages I was, certain people would come and I'd feel so sorry for them, and I'd let them, I felt bad to sort of say, the hour's over and I've got to kind of move them on. And, I didn't, it was hard to set the boundaries because you feel sorry and you want to help them. And I think when I started out, I was over helping, maybe over giving. So obviously through, some tough times where it cost me my own health, that my guides would be, you've got to create the boundaries. You can always tell them to come back, and for your own health and wellness. So yes, I did need to learn all that also. Yeah, but then again, I didn't go off to do courses, and so I just was going with my own inner guidance and what my guides were showing me. And so, but eventually I got it. And even now, there's only a certain amount of people I can see in a day, and sometimes people will call and go, I'm so desperate, please, you've got to fit me in. But I have to hold back. As tempting as it is to say I'll squeeze you in, I know that then it's going to cost me, come at a cost to myself and also to that person, because then I say to them, I'm not going to be able to give you my best because this isn't like you're squeezing in an extra haircut. You're doing energy work with people, and you're removing out of people, all kinds of stuff that you're removing out of people. So it is a big responsibility to become a healer. It's an honor to do this work, and there's so much joy in helping people. But you really need to take your time with the process and love yourself and nurture yourself and be ready to make that change in your own personal lifestyle. Really make that change of, there can't be alcohol, there can't be, toxic drugs or toxic type of eating. You have to look after yourself. You have to get to bed early. You're gonna, in times that you will feel really isolated, that perhaps, your friends don't get you, that you're going through changes as you evolve and shift. You're going to go through changes. You're going to feel like there's nobody here for me. And there are lessons in that, and learning to sort of be able to hold your own sacred space without needing. You can't become a healer and help people and go out and be very needy to have, friends following you or telling you what to do. And so you do have to learn to hold your own strength and hold your own power and be able to be in your own space and be alone, because when you're alone, that's when you're able to really reflect and go into those deeper levels of yourself and be open to the teachings that are coming through, the downloads that are coming through. And that can only come from spending time on your own, in quiet, in nature. You need peace, you need calmness. You can't have this chaotic life where, you're going out and all this socializing and then thinking that you're going to go in the next day and
got to make sacrifices,
be able to heal people. Well, this is the thing. Do you see that as I don't see it as a sacrifice. I see it as, I love my time when I'm alone. To me, it's not a sacrifice. I know that by having, time to myself, that I'm going to be able to be better at what I do, because I'm going to work and I'm to my clinic, and I feel prepared and ready to meet the day and to meet the people and be able to give them my best.
It's funny what you're saying about giving up alcohol and toxic drugs and all that kind of stuff, because I've definitely known people who, if you ask them, they would claim to be very spiritual people, but like absolutely into drugs, alcohol, sleeping around, all that kind of stuff. And it's like they don't quite go together, do they? It's like you've got to, you're
just going to end up really messed up and messing up other people's energy. And then, with that comes karmic consequences. But look, I believe that becoming a healer is truly a calling. It's something that a soul has made a decision that they're going to come here to be of service, to help. And it burns deeply in your heart. And it just happens. You don't even need to force it. When I look back at my life, the doors opened up. I didn't leave school saying this is what I'm going to do. I had no idea. But the doors opened up, and I was always guided in different directions where, it led to where I am now, and that process happened very naturally. It didn't happen by force or, the doors opened up. And as each door opened up, I got prepared for the different people I would meet, the different things I was learning about the world that we live in, and how there's so much more, to just, what we see, in the physical world, just the five senses. You have to be open to understanding also that, people want to open up their third eye and I want to see. But you're going to also see the good and the bad, because to become a healer, you can't just be in a little bubble and say, I'm just going to see good things, because people are going to come in and they're going to have some bad stuff attached to them. And you have to know how to hold and maintain that energy and not allow it to get out of what's the word I want to say?
Out of control.
Out of control. Thank you, James. Out of control. So you have to know how to hold and keep everything contained so that you can deal with it. Because otherwise, if you don't know how to keep things contained, then things get out of control. And when people come in, especially say they have entities and things like that attached to them, those entities are part of a realm of other entities. So if you don't have things under control, then those realms will unleash on you. And I knew of someone that this happened to a long time ago. And she was so insistent that she wanted to heal people and she'd gone off to do Reiki and whatever. And again, I'm not putting anything down. I'm just saying it was all very forced. But look, again, it was her lesson. It was her journey. And
What happened? What happened to her?
Well, one night, so she rang me and she said she was doing a healing on this person and this person had an entity and what was she to do? She didn't know what to do. And I'm like, I was at work with my own and I couldn't. So anyway, ended up that things got out of control and the woman got very scared and she started screaming and they both ran out of the building they were in, the clinic room she'd set up, screaming and carrying on. And, and when she told me, I was just completely horrified. I thought, my God, like, what have you done to this person who obviously had maybe come in to have this thing removed? And I mean, that is just not, very unprofessional and very traumatizing for both of them, So these are the types of things that can happen. So again, you have to be ready to confront. And I remember like spending many years with my guides where they showed me, the lower worlds, the hellish realms, and how they connect to people, how they can work through people, how they can create havoc in people's lives. So that again, I was able to understand that. That also helped me when I went off to clear houses or when people came and they had like things connected to them. And then there's people, that were coming to me that had curses put on them or black magic done to them. So I had to be so 100% dedicated and committed because there's no space for a mistake, It's not like something that you're typing and you can just delete it and carry on. Like you have to be 100% sure of what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've talked about a lot of your learnings came from downloads and intuition and just
spending time in meditation, going out into the astral and actually experiencing the spirit realms.
Right. So you've made it very clear that the number one thing to do is the work to do on yourself is key to doing this successfully.
Because you can't carry your trauma into your clinic room, into someone else's life.
So if someone is wanting to be a healer or get into being a healer and they're feeling that, I guess, that pull towards it,
please do it.
Can they find someone to teach them as well? Like I know that you've talked about how like some people aren't legit. Like, my questions are: is it okay for people to seek out a mentor or a teacher? And if so, what's the best way for them to determine that person is legit and
have a look at. So if you're going to seek out a mentor or a teacher, first of all, I would be looking at, what if are they healers themselves? Are they busy? What do they believe in? How do they open up? What are they channeling? Do they know how to shut down? Do they know how to clear a space after you've finished a healing? These are the things you need to look at. Have they worked through their own stuff? What's their personal life like? Are they out kind of partying, or are they somebody, what are they doing in their own personal life? What are they eating? Well, I know these are crazy questions, but they make a big difference.
Yeah. And you can ask that. You can talk to the person.
You have a right to. If you're choosing someone to mentor you, then you have a right. And if this person is refusing to answer those questions and say, oh, you're getting too personal, well, then I think again.
Yeah.
But your best mentor is yourself. yourself. And you have, remember, if you are somebody who's really meant to be a healer, trust me and believe me that you will have a lot of spiritual help around you to help you achieve that. So you don't really need to look to another person for all of that mentoring. You need to just look deeply within yourself and the beautiful inner guidance that is already there, imprinted within your soul, because this is your soul purpose. You've come here to do that. So all that you need is already within you. So please understand that. The other thing is, maybe look to work through issues. And that's, we've all of us, when we're born here, we're living on this planet, we're all going to have issues to different degrees, okay, that we need to clear, because that makes you a clearer vessel of holding that higher vibration, holding the higher light. If you've got someone who's a healer and they're traumatized and they've got this terrible life, and then they're not going to be able to be able to channel and hold that clear light and energy for you, are they? Absolutely not. You can't trust. Remember that you're putting your energy into someone else's hands. You've got to be 100% confident that you can completely trust them and they're going to do the right thing by you. So, for people who, and I do meet lots of wonderful people who are meant to be healers, and absolutely they will receive the spiritual help they need. They already have the imprint of what they need within their own spirit, so they can rely on that. And often, yes, they've got stuff to resolve. And that's okay. Go and resolve it, because that's just going to make your gifts more powerful.
Yeah.
The more you've resolved yourself, the more inner peace you can have within yourself, the more powerful a healer you are going to become.
Yeah.
But if you're carrying all these burdens and issues, then that's going to be very difficult.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess this is stating the obvious, but also, if you do want to be a healer, question your motivation as to why. If you're doing it because it seems kind of cool, or, because a lot of spiritual stuff is kind of trendy now, and, people have like little groups and retreats and things, and it might seem like it's kind of like it fits into your lifestyle and your image, then that's the wrong reason to do it. I guess it's got to come from a very pure place of genuinely wanting to help people, and leaving ego out of it. That's probably a fair thing
and
to say.
it shouldn't be forced. It will all happen naturally. You don't worry about where are the people going to come from, where am I going to find my client. It will happen. God will guide you. Because you have a mission to accomplish. And, and I have in my years met some incredibly beautiful, gifted healers, and that are doing amazing work. But sadly, I've met some people that are not that way inclined and are just doing it because, for whatever reason, which is not really the right reasons. But I also say to people who go to healers is, again, make sure that they are going to be able to keep you safe. And if they start telling you that they're going to, throw eggs behind you, or put little things in eggs, or they've got to kill a chicken, or they're going to have to, do spells, then run for your life. That it's going to cost thousands and thousands of dollars, because I can't begin to tell you how many hundreds of these stories I've heard. I went to this woman and she told me that if I, she did some spells over these eggs, and if I throw them over my shoulders at Friday at 9 o'clock at night, that the spell's going to go. And then I've got to go to the beach and throw something else in the water, like our oceans need more pollution. Let's not even go there. The stupidity of the things I have heard just makes me so angry. Because then the good ones like us get put in the basket with these crazies.
The crackpots.
The crackpots, and and ruins our reputations. That and I know all the great healers out there would feel the same way. We get really pissed when these people, and they're paying these people hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to just put more spells, more bullshit, more havoc in their lives. Like, how is throwing a freaking egg over your shoulder going to clear a spell? You need to energetically clear. You use the high frequency energy to clear lower energy. You don't do it by chopping a chicken's neck off or going and walking on the beach and, throwing things that, they don't even know what they've thrown, because it's something that the little whatever, you want to call these people, gave her or him. So, and what these people don't realize that are doing this shit, really, because that's what it is, that, they're going to have to face God at the end of their lives. There's no getting away. We're going to have to face that creator. And, and I'm not saying that any of us here to be God, but if we're genuinely trying to do our best and we're working on the right side of the light, then we're fine. But if you're not doing that and your only motivation is to, your ego, or just to make a whole bunch of money, then I don't know. I don't know. You're not going to have a very easy time when you go home.
Yeah. So I guess the general rule of thumb here is, if you want to get into healing and be a healer, it should be a very naturally driven process that flows, and it'll take the time it takes. You'll learn the way you learn, but it could be, you can't force it, is what I'm saying. It's not something you can just will into happening.
No,
it has to be a very organic process. And if you're someone
going off doing course after course after course after course, then I think that you need to rethink that too.
All right, there you go. Good advice. So take the natural flowing approach, not the button your head up against a wall approach.
Being a healer can come in. So it doesn't mean that maybe you need to energetically work on people. Being a healer can mean that you're holding sacred space, that your beautiful energy everywhere you go, you're just bringing light into people's lives, or love and light into their environment. It doesn't have to be an official thing. We're all healers in different ways. Some people have a beautiful way of smiling that lights up someone else's, that's going through a hard time. Some people just bring this beautiful heart of love into people's lives. So, healers come in many, many different ways. It doesn't have to be of and I'm going to be in a clinic and this is how I'm going to work,
That's true, because there are special people that you come across.
Being around.
Yeah, their energy is like so beautiful and bright. It's just like it lights you up.
You're receiving a healing anyway, just being around people like that. That they're just so beautiful and uplifting, and they are healers themselves.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right, well, there you go. So if you want to be how to be a healer, it's not an easy path of like, you do X, Y, Z. It's a path of spiritual growth
and eternal learning and growth.
And looking inward and trying to avoid the pitfalls that we've outlined today, I guess.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, on that note, we'll leave it there.
Thank you, everybody. Please don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button to support our channel.
Indeed. Yes. Thank you. We'd appreciate that.
Have a beautiful day. Lots of love to you all. Thank you.
Indeed. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.
To gain access to private spiritual development classes, guided meditations, and live Q&As with Katerina, please visit www.patreon.com, that's patreon.com/The Australian Ghost Whisperer.